It's our modern day Munchkin Beauty and the Beast. One is smart, but Munchkin size. From an elite high school of the smartest and brightest girls around, except they're really stuck up and mean. And the other is tall, has an extremely dangerous bad boy aura, except he's actually really kind and kind of dumb. From the lowly Chidori High School next door. Together, they bond over Rintaro's mom's cakes, aka the best mommy cakes around. Rintaro is working on improving his IQ, or he is not allowed to exert his prowess at the school sports festival as a blockhead athlete, while on the flip side, we start to learn much more about our munchkin sweet waifu in Kaoruko. Stay tuned as I recap, react, and analyze this heartwarming, wholesome story of a building romance that helps change the prejudice of the class divide between the rich and powerful, and the fact that our MC Rintaro Tsumugi represents us dummies. That it's more than just brains, it's bronze with a sweetheart. This video will cover the events of the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity Episode 3, Yasashi Hito. Check out my main channel where I'm covering Fragrant and Dan, and please check out my previous videos on the Sword of the Demon Hunter and the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, or else someone will get hungry. It's another day at Chidori High, and our two lovable sweeties, and Rintaro and Shohei, are about to fail again. If they don't pass the upcoming exams, then they shall not participate in the sports festival. Skata Sensei comes to the agreement with young Usami that if they pass and win the sports festival, you get something sweet, like ice cream. For us guys that are really dumb, it's a lot easier for us to throw hands that never connect than to put our nose in the books. Shohei freaks out. Rintaro is feeling screwed. Saku scolds Shohei because of how much he tried to help them the previous year, and yet they still failed miserably. Oh my god. Rintaro's mom tells them to make sure to invite Kaoruko to mommy cakes for discount day, especially since she hasn't been visiting lately. This is the start of the changing dynamics of how we view Kaoruko as the presumed rich girl when it comes to girls, guys like Doki Doki and Sind. Rintaro invites Kaoruko, but she had to respectfully decline to Rintaro's disappointment and surprised that he was actually disappointed. Tsumugi is still in the stage of denial of his true feelings for Waguri. Shohei brings Rintaro to the library to study because he's trying to pass the exams without the help of Saku, since they got into quite the heated argument. Unfortunately, two dummies don't make us smart. But Usami, with the help of a cool, calm, and collected Rintaro, helps make him realize that Saku really was just trying to help them to the bitter end of failure. They both end up boosting each other's morale so they can support each other as teammates at the sports festival. And so Shohei gets up to go fetch Ayato and Saku to apologize and to help them. No matter how dumb our crew of four are, they have mommy cakes level sweetness. Two girls pull up to find a seat, and so Rintaro, seeing their struggle, just gets up and leaves to allow them to sit down without saying a word. And they notice that he might have done this intentionally. As Rintaro walks away, he tells Shohei that he lost their seats. And just as he was moving downstairs, he runs into the Munchkin. Very quickly, Rintaro puts two and two together as to why Kaoruko had to stop visiting mommy cakes. It's literally to help her focus on the upcoming exams and not get diabetes. But what is that?
A noodle doodle.
This is the first time getting to hear Kaoruko speak so casually with their friend, Yuzahara Madoka, who points out that Waguri isn't no ordinary student at a school already meant for the special elites. She is at the top of her class. Rintaro is realizing the girl he is into is a freaking genius, and he's like, but I'm dumb. He lays down on the bench and ponders over the difficulties of his studies, even with the help of Saku before. Waguri busts out of nowhere to catch Tsumugi slipping, like how he caught her the first time with mommy cakes in her mouth. This is where we learn about our biases towards Waguri Kaoruko. Listen here, Tsumugi. She's not rich. Kaoruko apologizes for not being able to make it to Mommy Cake's discount day, but Rintaro also reveals that it's a monthly occurrence anyways. This leads to her bringing up that she has a fight though. To Tsumugi's utter surprise, because she goes to Kikyo, Waguri is such a mode-breaking genius that she got in solely on a scholarship. The truth is that she's not rich at all. She's actually pretty stressed to the point that she pinches herself to stay awake so she can get the utmost preparedness for the exams. The veil of societal assumptive class divide lifts its murky haze once again, like in the previous episode of Rintaro. Subconsciously playing into the prejudice, he realizes that he can still be a bit dense in misjudging of her because she goes to Kikyo. She continues to show how much of an incredible person she is because she begged her father to go to Kikyo and he allowed her. So now she feels a new sense of pride being there, not wanting to let her father down. It is here that Rintaro looks at his own ineptness and how people are relying on him that he gets brave and asks Kaoruko to help him study. Although she has been busy with her own work, but with the power of yummies to munch on, she happily accepts for the guy she's into, even if he's kinda slow. Blowing in the wind is a silver-haired vixen, Oshina Subaru. Very quickly, Subaru tells Rintaro to stay away from her because he's a Chidori. The situation escalates even more when Usami shows back up with Ayato and Saku. This almost leads to another front gate incident as Shohei pulls up on Kaoruko because he recognized her from before, which leads to both Subaru and Rintaro getting in the way. Rintaro's protectiveness of the Munchkin beauty made his body move on its own, but Subaru was even more surprised as she saw Rintaro shield off Shohei to protect her hero. Subaru tries to walk Kaoruko away, talking smack, but Saku ain't having that shit. He cuts real deep into Subaru's insecurities about her being a rich Kikyo student and the fact that she's a silver vixen. Kaoruko tries to cut in to save her friend, but Rintaro butts in once again to handle Saku. He also reminds everyone that this was the nice girl that stood outside the Chidori gate to wait for a certain special someone, further explaining that he coincidentally ran into her and was with her to apologize for what happened. Ayato pointing out that Usami was the one that scared her. He actually ends up apologizing right then and there. No matter how baka these Chidori guys are, they were raised correctly with manners. Kaoruko, seeing all this, bows her head to apologize as well. The fact that she stood there knowing the fragile dynamics between Chidori and Kikyo, she makes her amends for being the catalyst that caused the uproar and tells Subaru to apologize as well. But the silver-haired vixen walks away in disgust, not apologizing. Usami points out that if Waguri was putting up a front this whole interaction, he would totally lose his faith in humanity. And there is also a certain someone that is stubborn as well. Baka. Kaoruko points out that Subaru shouldn't be so mean and judgy. Seeing how Rintaro reacted during that fiasco made Subaru curious about the blonde-headed boy, and so she asked about him. In which Kaoruko responds with, "He's a nice boy, but needs some help with brains, but a nice sweet boy." Then she points out what really matters in this world: snacks! There's nothing like a man recognizing his own stupidity, even with the help of less stupid people. Good thing, ring. Kaoruko apologizes over the phone about Subaru and explains how she is actually a good person. He apologizes for Saku as well, pushing her apologies to a further limit. She is sorry that Rintaro had to lie for her. And to cap it off, she tells him that when he protected her, he was
かっこいい.
No one has ever told Rintaro that. You sure? Not even the homies or mommy cakes? Waguri gets more self-conscious because she's been using less and less of Keigo. Because she's just a customer at Mommy Cakes. But Tsumugi is like, no, Tamiguchi is way cuter and feels way closer. Except he didn't say that at all and suddenly just took what Waguri said at face value. It's just another momentary dense moment for our MC. At least, she also called for a study session on Saturday. They can meet at Asagi Station. As the conversation is about to come to an end, in the old school pervy days, one might ask what the other girl's wearing. But no, Rintaro is actually super wholesome and thinking about what kind of emote she's doing this time. Before they hang up, he suddenly grows a pair to tell Waguri to only speak to him in Tameguchi. This guy is having a full-blown panic attack because she's always busting out emotes, in which he can't physically see this time. And guess what? He's totally red in the face. Kaoruko on fire. Before the episode ends, we get a brief view of Subaru watching over a picture of her childhood friend and hero, Kaoruko. Very quickly from the incidents in episode 2, we have like the opposite results of that event. Mostly everyone apologized, but not those meanies though. And we get a surprisingly, not so surprisingly, silver-haired vixen in Subaru being introduced, who's naturally gonna go through her own process of understanding this Chidori and Kikyo divide. The fact that she is close friends or best friends with Kaoruko, this is the natural path. With the guys like Usami apologizing for what happened in episode 2, and the crew as a whole, it pretty much seals the deal that all of Rintaro's friends are pretty upstanding. Even Saku too, as it seems like he's just more of the stubborn one. With Kaoruko not being the rich elite, that continues to bend our own ideas of what our assumption was of her, and continues to play on the theme of prejudice for her character for Kikyo and Chidori students. At this point, we all realize that this is like a societal veil, which plays into the overarching themes of what makes this romance a little bit more rewarding. As they come together, the world around them are starting to figure things out of what reality really is. So it's nice that Kaoruko comes from humble beginnings, but I also would have loved that if she really was rich. I would have loved that kind of angle as well. With the move from Keigo to Tameguchi, from polite to casual speech, this is another major step of this romance becoming that much more closer, which is what we all want, right? We gotta build them up to eventually find bigger obstacles to get in the way, whether it's from the bigger themes of Chidori and Kikyo or from a romance side, or like those two dudes at the beginning of the series. I'm sure at some point those guys will get a temporary dub, and maybe those two meanies from before as well. And so as of this episode, it continues to play into the Kikyo and Chidori divide, and this character Subaru is going to be the one that's going to have her change of heart at some point, as she's already recognizing that Rintaro is not exactly who she thought he was. And we're going to eventually see the dynamics between Subaru and Kaoruko, and why Kaoruko has continually gone out of her way to tell Rintaro that she is a good person. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode of The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. It's such a mouthful. And do me a favor, hit the like button if you like the introduction of the silver-haired vixen. And subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusen.com. Check out my main channel where I cover Dan 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 and Fragrant. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.